We're very happy and very honoured to have Nikki Symmons with us on the rooftop of Pride House today. Hi, Nikki.
Hello.
Tell us about you, please.
Oh, about me. Okay. My name's Nikki Symmons. I'm from Ireland, and I'm here in Paris with Compete Proud, our little project that we have, working with Pride House, France. Former international hockey player for Ireland. Didn't quite make the Olympics, so maybe we can delve into that a little bit. But here I am. Enjoying myself here. Just arrived yesterday, but loving the work we're doing here and the importance of it, and making sure that the LGBTQ plus people are visible, and all the athletes are visible, especially for the future generations. We saw today we had lots of kids around as well, so it's really nice to see that we're inspiring the next generation and letting them see that it's okay to be you.
What does it mean to you today, actually, to be on the rooftop with your family?
It's amazing. It's really amazing. Yeah, my daughter was here with my partner as well, and just to see her running around and everything's just fine. You know, she was walking around the exhibition as well with the flags everywhere, with the gay flags on each of the pictures. It's a really nice exhibition as well. She was literally looking at every single flag. She was going right up as well, like, oh, this is colorful, this is cool. And, you know, for her, she's seen it before, but it's just to see it even more, you know, for her and real. And seeing all the people around and all the athletes that we're bringing here as well. And yeah, it was a long process. We came a little bit late at Compete Proud, so it's really nice to see how well it's been already organized, and that we came in late in the game, but I think we brought some extra spice to the...
I'll give a quick explanation. Thanks to Compete Proud, we have had some beautiful interviews with athletes, and coming late in the game has actually, I think, maybe allowed you to plug in quite quickly into what was already happening with Pride House, but also with the Olympics in general. So I just want to thank you on behalf of Pride House for everything that you guys have been doing with us and for us. So Nikki, Matt and Javier, of course, have been supporting Pride House for the last few weeks, and it's just been very exciting. So thank you very much.
It's been great. I'm really happy with what it looks like on the boat as well. It's like something special. I think Paris just is, it's special. It's a bit like London, the games that I didn't quite qualify for. I heard that was spectacular. I didn't go, I didn't watch it, but I heard it was like this, you know, very easy to get around, you know, great views, great buildings, great venues. So I think Paris has brought that again, because we were missing a little bit. Obviously Tokyo, there was no spectators. And Rio, I worked at Rio for the International Hockey Federation, and hockey was quite far out, so I didn't really see much of the city, but it wasn't quite the same. I just feel this vibe is different. I went skateboarding yesterday, and you know, you looked around skateboarding, you could see every single landmark in Paris. It's just beautiful, and I think that really helped as well. And on top of that, Paris have brought all the culture. They brought diversity and inclusion. We saw from the opening ceremony, which a lot of people got the wrong impression from. They didn't quite understand that it was full of culture, full of, you know, real Parisian artists, but also French artists and French poets, everything, musicians. And I think that was incredible to see an Olympic Games that we're merging the two together, entertainment and sport, and it brings it alive. It brings something different to the table.
For sure. I think we've come quite far. I feel like we've come quite far to be sitting in the center of Paris, in this location with the Eiffel Tower. And it's exactly as you say, yesterday the skateboarding, which I was very happy to go and see the skateboarding as well myself. It's very central. It's very much part of the conversation. So we've had lots of positive change, I think. But in your opinion, for the LGBTQ plus community, what still needs to be done for the next few Olympics, and actually in sport in general?
I think a lot still. I think we've gone from maybe 10, 12 athletes out in London. So I go back to London again, always as my my go-to, to now like 198 or something like this, I think, around that. So we've come a long way, but there's still a long way to go, because there's obviously still many athletes not out. The statistics are, you know, 10% of people around in groups are out, are gay, but they haven't come out. So there's a lot to do. I think that means there should be about 1,000, at least 1,000 or 2,000 athletes at the games that are gay. So we've still got a lot of work to go. Also, you know, part of our work at Compete Proud is to work with the international federations, the national associations, and of course the sponsors, to tell our story, to help them understand that, you know, they need to support us. They need to support the next athletes who are maybe struggling to come out because they think they might lose them as a sponsor. They need to go, hang on, You know, it's okay. You don't have to. It doesn't matter if you're out or not. If you're wanting to come out, it doesn't matter. They should just be there to go, look, whoever you are, we're supporting you as an athlete. That's it. You know, and you can be whoever you want to be. Because at the end of the day, if you don't bring your full self, it's the same in business. I work in corporate world. If I don't bring my 100% there, I'm not giving it all.
Always have that tingling thought at the back of your mind. It's very hard to be 100%, isn't it?
Exactly.
So, I think especially within sport, especially within this, breaking Guinness World Records world, how can you go 200% if you have that little thought at the back of your head all the time?
Yeah. Exactly. You're always watching your words. You're always wondering who's watching. Again, thinking about sponsors, thinking about your federation. And of course, there's countries where it's not going to be as easy. And that's where we also step in. And Pride House and people like Fier-Play, France as well, step in and they can help athletes because, it goes all the way to family. Some people aren't supported by family. So what do? Okay, maybe they don't come out. Or their federation or the country they're from, they don't come out because they want to represent their country. So there's a lot of work to do to help those athletes. To also be able to come out and be comfortable, even if it's not publicly, just even to have a space where they can go and share their thoughts and worries about.
For sure, and I think also athletes, but also just people in general. Do you have you personally, do you have any tips to give to people who might be struggling to accept themselves today?
It's a very hard question to give someone else, a tip. For me, I was quite. I feel like it was easy, but it wasn't easy. It never is, right?
In retrospect, maybe it feels a little.
But I felt I just went through it, right? But when I look back, it wasn't so easy. Like I struggled throughout my teens, whether, what it was. I had a boyfriend at the time, but I still was like, what is this? I don't know. And there was no one then, the first kind of visible lesbians were from the L Word when I was 21, when I was coming out. So, there wasn't really anything for me to look up to or to think about. And I think what you need to do is find your people. Like what happened to me is I ended up going out with my hockey club and I went to a gay bar and then I literally walked in the door and I felt home. I was like, oh, okay, this is it. These are my people. Yeah. It was like, wow. Because I just never felt comfortable. I never felt comfortable going straight bars. I never felt I was really girly. I was sporty, so that was okay. But still, I never felt like girly. And I felt so uncomfortable in those situations. And then I walked into a bar in Dublin, the George, and
I've been there.
That was
I love it.
Have you? Yeah, you've been there. The George is amazing. Shout out to the George. And all the amazing drag queens that I love, my friends, everyone.
As a half Irish person, I need to go there more often. So yeah.
Yes,
I love it.
Okay. So I walked in the doors and just felt, okay, this is it. Found my people. So I think that would be my tip. Try and find your people. It's not easy, I understand. But if you can try and find those people who you can feel comfortable, and that's again, there's people there's associations, there's groups, there's small groups you can find wherever you are in the world that can help you with that. So that would be my tip. Find your right people.
That's a very good tip. It is difficult sometimes, I think, for our community, but there have been some positive evolutions. What do you think, maybe one example, one or two, things that have happened recently, positive things that we should really keep as much as we can? Any ideas?
In particular, these Olympic Games, I think the diversity, equity, inclusion part of the opening ceremony, as much as we had some bad parts to it, it was also just a real, we're here, we're not going anywhere, and we're part of this too. Everyone is part of it. And I think, again, back to the people who didn't like it so much, they just didn't see the full picture, the bigger picture. They just saw that part. I mean, the whole ceremony wasn't about the queer world. It was just that part. And some parts, it was throughout. It was diverse in color, in
very
gender,
aspects and lots of history and culture.
History, exactly. So throughout it was like that. It wasn't just this particular moment that people were really up in arms about. So I think we can take positive because that is for the IOC and the Paris 2024 to take that step and be bold to do that. I think that was really important and a big step forward. I just hope it doesn't stop the next. Continuing on. That's the only thing I'm a bit worried about. But I think they've taken a good stand. They've said they're owning it. They said it was our decision. We're all here. Everybody's here. So I think that was good. The second thing, well, having Pride House more visible, I think, is a big thing. Really for the audience. I never saw it before at any. I only went to one games, but I never really heard about it before. I heard small things, but athletes never went, "Oh, we went to Pride House," So I think we're getting momentum, and it's great because look, right here, it's like everyone can see, right? Everyone can see it's here. We're looking out for the athletes. They can walk past, they can come in, they don't have to come in. It's just there.
And they stay and they come back again and again.
They do.
This is what's cute. This is very, very nice. Absolutely.
Great. Lots of allies coming in and seeing things for the first time, which they wouldn't normally see as well. And I think the next step then is to bring it closer to the athletes. We're bringing athletes here, but it's very tricky at the Olympic Games because their focus is their sport, and totally understandable. And not all of them stay after that long. So we tried our best, but I think the next step will be to be a bit more integrated from the start with the athletes that we have, that we know, and try and get them, maybe go closer to the Olympic Village.
I mean, you know what? So this isn't even really intel because I don't have any information, but we are obviously speaking Pride House Paris. We're speaking to Pride House LA.
Yes.
We're going to be doing the handover, on Friday with the LA team. So that's very exciting. And what I do know is that actually the village is going to be very near the Pride House
brilliant.
in LA. I don't exactly know how near, and I don't know anything about the buildings. I just know that it's going to be actually very near. So that's really exciting. We know it's mostly going to be happening in West Hollywood, and that is pretty much where everything's going to be happening. So that's great. I'm really looking forward to that as well. I think we can focus on that. You mentioned London.
Yes.
Earlier. I was wondering if you could, if you have the time to tell us maybe how did London go for you? Is there anything about this particular moment that you'd like to tell us?
So, yes. I did think about this for the last probably week or so because I knew I wanted to kind of speak about it a bit more because I think now my mission and my role is to do something more with Compete Proud, Pride House, and really be more visible. And I think I'm ready because 2012 we didn't qualify for London. And it was my 30th birthday. Everything was going to be we got to the final of the qualifiers and it was all going to plan. I was like, this is amazing. We're going to be in London. I was just adamant that we were going to be there, and we lost in the final. So for me, it was really, really a huge struggle to kind of get back up from that. And because I tried, that was my third time trying for the games, and that was what I dreamt of. And I'm not sure, it's not the same for everybody. I think people play sport and they think, oh great, I can play world champs, whatever, but I literally was dreaming of that, and there was a team sport as well, so it's difficult. You got to get the whole team and the same, and I thought we were there, and that was made even worse, I think, because we were so close. Everything was going right anyway, so I kind of stepped away. I left the country. I moved to Switzerland. Well, I stayed for 1 year.
Neutral of you.
Yeah, it's true. I stayed for 1 year to play a little bit longer, retired very quietly after playing 13 years. I just couldn't do it. I just had to leave. I was I was distraught. And then I moved to Switzerland and I did a master's in sports management, founded by the IOC. I didn't realize Lausanne was such a big... I walk in, the train station's got Olympic rings, everything's about the Olympics. I was like, oh, you're killing me. Yeah. But in a way, I almost...
There a few weeks ago, it's so Olympics.
Oh, it's everywhere. But in a way, I almost faced that directly.
You didn't even do that. That's really funny.
No,
there's an Olympics museum and everything.
Yeah, everything's there. Everything. Yeah, and it was crazy. But in a way, I think I needed to do that to face it. But even now, 12 years later, it's still now I'm this is cool. I'm here. I'm happy. I said I think it's bigger than me. I finally realized it's bigger than me, and I came out publicly in 2014 on TV, even though many people knew I was out. But I felt I had to do that to kind of, just before I retired, to give a bit more visibility. And then I left the country. So now I feel it's time for me to step up and do more and really give that, as I said, it's bigger than me. It's not my ego anymore. It's what I can do for... It's taken me 12 years to realize that.
Well done. There's no timing. Everyone has their own rhythm. Everyone has their own rhythm.
Exactly.
And some people never will come out. So, good.
Yeah.
Last little question for you.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people look up to you, thanks to your work, and I'm sure you've received a lot of messages from people. Could you tell us a little bit about who is an idol for you? Who do you look up to? Who do you see doing what they do and think thank God this person is doing what they do?
God, that's a really good question. I have a few, I think. But many of them like date back to my school time and also as a young athlete. I had a few like really great Irish athletes, hockey players that I used to look up to. And yeah, I think they really helped me. So I had like Arlene Boyles and Claire McMahon, who are Irish hockey players from Northern Ireland. Claire is out as well, so I looked up to her a lot. But also as a hockey player. And then I think like I used to tennis players as well. I used to have like Martina Navratilova and Steffi Graf were huge influences in my. I wanted to play tennis as well. I used to play tennis a lot. Wanted to go to Wimbledon, but then hockey took over. So I had a few of those as well. But right now it's changed. I think obviously I was different in a different world now as well. I think if I go into the corporate world, I have some amazing women who are senior leaders as well, that I look up to and what they do, and also being a woman in leadership is incredible. So we have some people there, Marion Salzman, who's a close colleague of mine, but she's senior leader in where I work. Amazing woman, an incredible ally as well. I think that's the thing. It's not just, they don't have to be gay for me to look up to them. It's like, this woman is such an ally. Will accept everyone for who they are, no matter what. And she's also an ally for, which is really cool and something we need to think about as well, is intergenerational as well. Yeah. This is why I'm thinking to inspire the next generation is really important for me. It's not like, oh, I had to struggle, so you have to struggle too, which happens a lot in
I think the more
women.
we open doors, the more we're opening doors for the next generations to come. We've had, I would say in our generation, we've had a lot of people fight hard to open doors for us. And of course, last week with Javier and Matt, we were very lucky to meet Billie Jean King at Soho House with Pride House and Compete Proud. That was excellent because, of course, she is one of the individuals who has opened the door for us. And you're very right. Today, we need to open the doors for those who are coming next. Yeah. And for me, personally, we haven't had that many kids on the rooftop, even though this is a very, very family-friendly location. But when you came in with your family, that was beautiful for me as well. And I think it was very beautiful for us all because it immediately changes the vibe. And you're being careful, of course, but you're also being the best that you can be, right? Mm-hmm. And that's nice.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, I don't have maybe so many, like, I don't know, very famous, like you just mentioned, Billie Jean King. Obviously, I can't think of them straight off the top of my head, but when I start thinking,
it took me a while.
But Billie Jean King, for sure, like, opened the door for women in general, right? And is doing great things with her foundation and, like, really giving back, which is incredible because, I mean, she started off with barely anything. So she's doing that, which is amazing. But you're right. I think part of my thing is like, it's just the person beside you, or, they don't have to be like famous. We forget that people around us are so inspirational as well, and we are inspiring people.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget that ever.
No, we really are. And
someone is looking at you.
We've actually had a lot of people say, well, my parents, or even my own kids are my biggest inspiration. And I think that was great because I said idol or icon. And I wasn't specifically talking about celebrities at all. No. And I think that's a great answer. I mean, it's actually my answer. I would say my mum, in many, many ways. So, you're absolutely right to...
I think, just don't forget that someone is always looking at you. My daughter now, or you said people look up to me, but sometimes I forget that, and I have to remember that.
Yes, you should.
Yeah, I should. Should we make sure I'm more careful? No, I'm joking. But you forget that sometimes, that even just as someone around you. I think it's a big job to do.
Keep it up because you're doing a very, very good job.
Thank you.
We're very honoured and very happy that you came onto the rooftop of Pride House with us.
Well, thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. It's been impossible without you, actually. So thank you very much. This is the end of the little episode with Nikki Symmons for Pride House, and we'll check in soon. Thank you.